Rambling Hour with Lisa, Season 12, Episode 5. The episodes just keep going and going. Imagine what life is like actually living with me or being around me if I can ramble this much just in that hour on a Sunday. Like, I don't shut up. Even when I'm by myself out in the garden, I think I said that last week, I realize I talk to myself as well, out loud. My thoughts just verbalize sometimes. So I am happy to see you. What is new with you guys? What have you been doing with your week? Are you still getting summer weather? Do you feel like it's autumn? I don't know. I'm in between. But I definitely do want to bring the autumn decorations down, which I said last week. So my table is like kind of far away, so I put this plant on the couch because if I put it on the table, you'd only see a little bit of it. So I put it on the couch just to have a plant. This is the one for today. It's a crouton. I'm just making sure this is working. Okay, so as I told you guys last week, I have a guest this week, and I'm really excited about this guest. Last summer, I was so excited to get this book, and once I got this book, I avoided everything while I read this book, and it was amazing, as good as I thought it would be, and the only problem was I raced through it, enjoyed every moment of it, and then realized when I got close to the end, wanting more, that this is only the first book. The second book I think is coming out in October, and the third book is, she's working on it right now. So this is someone I met on the internet years ago, actually, speaking of which, it was through writing. Well, actually, it's one of the questions I asked my guests, so we'll talk about it when I ask her how we met. But we've been friends for many years. She's had a very intense life, and that is what this book is about. It's called Silently Said, and we're going to have her as my guest today. Her name is Diana, and I'm very excited. So let me just invite her. Nope, hang on. How did I do this? So, yeah, come on. Oh my God, sorry guys. Okay, I sent her an invitation to watch, just to start watching before I can invite her to be my guest, or for her to send me a request. I'm very excited about this. The book, it was so great. I can tell you what the synopsis is on the back while we wait for her to join us. From the series Silent. Oh wait, this might be her. Silently Said by Diana Lee. Nestled in a quiet and quaint small town just down a dusty gravel road, lived a family plagued with a mystery they can't solve. Diana, born in March of 1978, the youngest of 4 children, all born within 6 years, is caught in the crossfires of distress, battling her own illness and the ones haunting the family. Diana and her siblings must make their way in this world as their mother's health fails and their father's alcoholism strangles the family system. Roles shift, no longer dependent on age or ability, but who can do the job. They say lightning doesn't strike twice in the same spot, but as luck would have it, for the Kirk family, it does. With flight or fight ignited, Diana operates in full survival mode. A writer at heart, Diana harnessed the healing powers of writing. This is her healing journey. So I just wanted to start crying when just reading that. I mean, I've read the book, but I have not had a life like hers at all. But I did have an alcoholic father, and I did have an older sister. And when I think of the things that happened in their family, it hurts me because I can put myself in her shoes and imagine if that was what happened in my life. And it's such a good book in so many ways. And Diana is just a positive person through all of it. And I just love seeing the trajectory that her life has taken her. And she's going to be more used to doing this kind of talking than I am, because promotion for the book and everything else, she does this stuff. So let me send her a request. Diana, Diana says, hello. Are you watching on a iPad or an iPhone? Because you need to make sure that your camera and your microphone have permission for Facebook to access your microphone and your camera. And then I'll be able to bring you on. Oh yeah, okay. Ash says, hi Lisa, how are you? I'm good. A MacBook, that's fine. So you need to go into permissions and make sure that it has, that Facebook has permission to, no, I don't. It's either in your Facebook, in your Facebook settings, or it might be on your MacBook settings. But try Facebook settings first. Just go into the cog and find your Facebook settings and see if you can request access to your microphone and your camera there. And I'll just keep talking about what I've been up to this week. So, okay, so Diana, you've gone live on your, yeah, you've gone live lots on your Facebook. So it should have access to that. Okay, well then if you see at the bottom, there's a little, in the settings at the bottom, there'll be a little person with a little person in a square. That means like, so that you can request to be on my live. If that's not showing up, then there's still something in the settings. So this week I have tried to get stuff done in the garden if it wasn't raining, did stuff in the house if it was raining. I've been going in the swimming pond, plunge pool every day just to try and train my body. And last night, me and Steve went to a 40th birthday party, which is cool because this coming up this weekend, we have a 80th birthday party. I think I told you guys that last week. So, yeah, to celebrate 40 and then 80 to be double the 40s. So it was a good party. This is yesterday's hair, but I put it in a pony and spritzed it. How quickly I forget what has happened in the last week. But can you believe that it's already September 17th? So it's just time. I have no idea. So I'm gonna have to look when I'm not live and my phone isn't over there to see how this is done, because I know other people have done it before to figure out the settings. But just hang on, I'm choking now. Because I'm the host, it doesn't look the same for me as it does for you guys watching, where I can invite you or add you as a guest. So I don't know what, yeah, I'll just have to figure it out another time so that I have, and you know what, oh no, I can't do that either. I was going to say, and then I can have it ready to send to them, to give them instructions, but I'd have to do that as well before, but we could also test this, because when you go live, you don't actually have to go live for everybody to see. You can have a select audience too, which could even be nobody. Ash says, time flies when you're having fun with the gardening. That's true. Well, yeah, I am trying to get things ready for autumn, even though I'm trying to avoid it coming. It will come. So I am trying to get things that need to be overwintered and everything closer to the greenhouse and leaving the displays with only things that are going to survive the winter but still make them look nice for autumn and then for winter. This week coming up, well, Steve's dad is coming down for the birthday party next week, and so we'll have Steve's dad here as a visitor, and I just have lots of, the normal housework to do and everything else. Lots of laundry, never ends. So, this weekend I worked out front in the garden because Thomas was away with his dog, so I didn't have Sasha to watch, so I could be out in the front garden because the dogs can't go in the front garden because there's no like where the big gates will be eventually. There's nothing there, so the dogs could just run down the street if they wanted to. So they're only allowed in the back garden where the gates hold them in. Auntie Diane says, "Hi Lisa." Hi Auntie Diane. So, as I've said already in this one, but for those of you who are just tuning in, I do have a guest today. They're just trying to figure out, I don't know why they've done their own Facebook Lives lots, so I'm not sure why it's not showing up for me to bring them on video as it does for other people, so they're just trying to figure that out. I can see if it... No. Allow viewers to request to join your video. Diana, I don't know if it, like, if you look in Messenger or in your notifications, I sent you a invitation to watch the live. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Oh, whatever you did, it worked. So you can tell me when you come on what it was that you did, because then I'll know for next time for the next person. I'm trying to press the link that says bring them on video. Unable to add guests. They can't join your broadcast at this time. Why? Stupid thing. There we go. So they're adding. And Auntie. Oh, there we go. Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So what did you do to make it work?
I moved to my phone. I was on my laptop, and yeah, I actually haven't done one of these in a long time either, where we've just joined in on events. But usually there's kind of that little person that shows up, and then you're like, okay, yeah, like it all makes sense. But that person wasn't showing up, and I hadn't changed any of my Facebook settings. But so now you got my hand, which is moving around. I'll try and get comfortable here.
Oh.
And I had to rotate my phone because it said in order to do this, I had to be this way, and then it let me accept. So
yeah, that's because then we're beside each other instead of if it was the other way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But at least we got it to work. That's good. That is what other people have done too, is just move to different devices. But I don't know why it wouldn't have worked on your MacBook, because it seems like it would be the same. Because you've used your MacBook for your lives before.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
I don't know. Technology, they update things, and then it's like, oh, they change your settings, and you don't even really know it. So.
Yeah, I know. And then I'm like, oh, I can't check my phone because my phone's there. So I can't help.
Yeah. No worries. We got her.
I'm just going to read my Auntie Diane's comment. She says, except that I wore something that's really light, so I can't read it. Hang on. I need my glasses because it's like white writing on my... Okay. Auntie Diane says, I'm in and out trying to clean... Oh, hang on. Clean our trailer. We are wanting to get some good photos once it's clean so we can sell it. Uncle Arthur wants to buy a motorhome instead. I was just going to say, they have one of those big campers with the push-out sides and everything. Yeah. So as soon as I read that they were selling it, I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense. But the fact that he wants to get a motorhome instead, that makes sense.
Motorhomes are great. Our friends just bought one, and they love it. So
especially in Canada or America, where there's lots of room to go and take it.
Explore.
Yeah, absolutely. And one day when our kids are older and stuff, me and Steve might even do that. Here, it would be a very tiny motorhome because the roads are narrow and finding places to park it.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yes. And one day you'll know because you will make it over here.
I will make it over there. It's on my list.
Yes. So there. Okay. When I have a guest, I have questions that I made a list of questions to ask my guests, but I also want to talk about your book because as I said before, when we were trying to figure out how to get you to join, you're probably used to doing all these things now, promoting your book and everything. You probably do interviews all the time.
Yeah, it definitely, I took the summer off. I spent time with friends and family and just kind of decompressed. I actually probably haven't spent an entire weekend at home for a year. I've been at home the whole weekend this weekend, taking in the lovely weather. And I thought, since you're usually outside, I'm outside. Yeah, I've got a podcast lined up for Friday. I've got a big speaking event in Canada here called Lead Conference Canada, where Jack Camfield and a bunch of people are coming from around the world to speak. So I will be one of their inspirational speakers, and we do our run through on Wednesday in Saskatoon. So it's nice because lots of us who, these big events like this, we usually have to travel to like either metropolitan Toronto or to the States, and there's lots of costs. But for us locals, it's nice because we won't have all of the extra expenses. And yeah, I've got that. And then book two, I've been working on all weekend since I've been at home. Because when you publish a book, there's a lot of promo that goes into it. Although it kind of promoted itself initially, just because people had been waiting for so long for it. And I need time at home where I'm just focused on that. So in writing book two, I discovered there's a book three, and it'll just help with the flow, and it won't overwhelm the reader. When I read a really good book, and it's kind of sad, I leave sad, and I don't want to leave my readers totally depressed, if that makes sense. So that's why you're getting chunks of it, because there's a lot that happens by the time I'm 40. So the first book leaves off when I'm 25, and then you're going to get up and until the age of about 40 in the second book. So,
and which is good. Like, there is, like, obviously there's a lot of like heartbreak and devastation in your young life, but especially from 25 to 40, there's so many great things that have happened to you too. So there's a lot that you can use to, brighten the mood and, leave it on
yeah.
it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you these questions first because it talks about how you and I know each other and everything else. And then
Sure.
I can ask the book because, like you said, waiting a long time. The whole time I've known you, I've been waiting for this book. And then I'm an idiot. Like I knew that it was a series. It even says on it that it's a series, but I read it so quickly, just like devouring it, and then got to the end and was like, no, why did I do that? Because now, I didn't say, I mean, I read it again and I'm sure I'll get more out of it because it's very intense. But it reads really well. Like you did, because sometimes you like have these people who are like, yeah, I'm going to write a book. And even if they have a good story, I have another friend who's published a book, and it had to do with like motivating yourself. Like he had an alcohol problem and everything else. So it's about like taking control of your life and everything else. And it was a good book. The message was great, but he really needs to get an editor because some people can't write. But your book,
you know what?
was
I
so
was
professional.
so scared. Yeah, I was so scared of editing. And when you get the revised copy and there's like 30,000 revisions, but it's like comma here, sentence structure there, flush this out a bit. Once you put your ego in the trunk, pretty much, and get down to business, the editing process is crucial to a good book. And I'm grateful for a good editor.
I agree, because as a friend, someone who's known him like since grade 4, I appreciated the book. I appreciated the message, but it would like, I think he'd sell a lot more copies because the message is great. Any motivational book, and it's not a big book, so it's perfect for those type of motivational books. But he talked about he wants to bring out a second book, and I really need to give him the constructive criticism because, like I said, the message is good. But he needs an editor because it's just a little bit all over the place, and it's not like.
Oh yeah, and when you're writing it in that creative process, that's exactly what you need to do, because in my mind, that was my biggest thing, was trying to structure it so it flowed in chronological order, made sense to the reader, and like the whole process. So the editing was one of the most important things besides writing the book.
Yeah, but I've also heard, like with authors, even with fictional books, is that sometimes you need to just get it all down, it all out, doesn't have to be in order. It doesn't have to even not all make sense. Just get it out, because especially when the flow is going, just get it out, because you can always come back, like you said, and edit. You can read it and then put it in order and everything else. But you don't want
Yeah.
to be stressing about that, and it'll interfere with the flow.
Yeah.
While you're just getting it out and feeling it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a big part of it. You got to catch those waves of writer, I don't know, it just feels right when you get into those feels, and then just let it flow. Like it's been flowing all weekend. My kids are coming home for a visit here later this afternoon. So I put in probably 3 hours this morning and I felt good. I was like, okay, good. Like, and then I was like, no, I've got a lot out and more is coming, and it feels good because it is something I really want to give my readers some, I guess for the people who don't know my story, I really want to give them some answers and kind of the rest of the story. So
yeah, well, true. I mean, I want more, but your first book doesn't leave people like, it doesn't leave like, obviously there's more questions and we want to know what happens to the characters next, but it does flow like properly even to the end, where it tells like that part of the story. There's a beginning and an end to those parts, so it's not like left on a cliffhanger where you don't know what happened. There's a lot that happens, so there's a lot of beginning and endings in the book, let alone what comes next. But it's written well. I love it, and I honestly would read it again. But I can't even believe that. I mean, they say that like sometimes, and not necessarily mine, because mine is boring because it's been a good life. But sometimes the best stories are like people's stories. Like that when you read it, you're just like, this happened to people. This isn't like a fictional story. This is someone's life, and not just one person's life, but you and your siblings and parents, and it's just unbelievable. But it's inspirational too, because I know you as well, so I know that from all of that came who you are now, and it's just amazing to see, and I'm just so proud of you and how much you've come out of your shell and who you have become, and what an inspiration you are to your daughters. And but
thank you.
If I ask you these questions, then people will know you have daughters. Okay, let's start with this. Okay, number one, there's 25 questions, so and if you can just say skip if you can't think of the answer right away, or okay, so how do we know each other? Where did we meet?
I want to say MySpace, back when there was MySpace.
It was MSN Spaces.
MSN Spaces, yes, and just chatting, and then we had Lisa in there too.
Yeah, Lisa Young.
And we were just some moms with babies.
Yep, and we were blogging to
blogging days.
Yep, and yep, that's how we met. And but then you were writing short things, and because that's what it was kind of. It was like not necessarily journal entries, but like short stories or journal entries or just like all of that stuff, right? And that's when you started teasing us about this book. And that was,
it's been a long time coming, like 25 years in the making.
Yeah. But you did it, and like you said, now you're on to number 2.
Yeah.
And hopefully the process is a little bit easier because you've already done it once.
Yeah. It's like riding a bike now. Now I know what to expect. I went in totally blind and published my book when my kids were graduating. Like, ridiculous, but that's okay. Okay, question 2.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in your life when this one's ready to be published.
Right?
Question 2, what do you do for a living?
I am an administrator for a local municipality. So essentially I'm a tax lady by day for all of kind of the ag land in an area about a half an hour away from here. And I've been in local government 13 years and in my present job 6.
So for those that don't know, she lives in Saskatchewan, Canada.
Right, yes.
So, and what did you do before that? You said you've been in that job for 6 years. Or have you been doing the same thing?
Yeah, I was an assistant administrator at the previous RM, rural municipality, and I used to run a daycare out of my house. And yeah, I wore a few hats, but this one's definitely been the longest that I've made a career out of.
And you've taken a year off for the writing process and such, and promoting your book. I thought you just said you took a year off.
No, I worked the whole time.
Oh, I thought you said you'd taken. Did you
No,
take any time off?
no,
Oh, I thought you took time off to promote the book or something.
no. Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
great though? No, so I work Monday to Thursday, 8 to 5, open over lunch. So I work 9 hour days. And then I get every Friday off. So I take the book to schools and events usually on Fridays. Unless there's keynotes that are during the week for corporate events, and then I just take that day off and work my Friday and bring my assistant in on the day that I'm not there. So
It's nice that it's flexible like that, though.
yeah, it. Sometimes I wonder how I do it, but it's working. So
Yeah, it sounds
yeah,
exhausting,
yeah.
but
Which is yeah, it is a bit tiring.
I don't. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, I don't think that you'll regret it one bit, because I see the promotional stuff you're doing and everything, and it's unfortunate that it has to be so much work to promote something like that, but it's definitely worth promoting. And I love just seeing that you have all these different events, and that you're like, it's not just Diana finally wrote her book. It's like, no, Diana wrote a really good book, and she's promoting it, and she's doing all the things that you would hope that an author would be able to do.
Yeah,
So
they call it authorpreneuring. So it's like you're an author and it's your own business, right? So you're an
yeah.
authorpreneur.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I can just see through you how, and I don't even like, even thinking about the actual work is exhausting, but just watching like how many different events you do and all this promotion, it's like you said, you don't know how you do it. It just but I'll send you any energy I can to help you get through it, because I think
It
you
lights me up, Lisa. It doesn't feel like work.
that's
When you
that
do what
is
you
when you
love,
know, when you love what you do, then it's not a job, right?
yeah, it doesn't feel like work. It actually excites me.
Oh,
So
that's
the biggest part is the driving.
right. Well,
Yeah.
don't worry, one day you'll be able to afford a driver.
There you go.
And then you
Okay.
can just
Next,
relax before you have to do the event.
that would be lovely.
Okay, so number 3, do you have kids, pets, and or a spouse?
Yes, I'm married. It'll be 20 years on Wednesday to my lovely husband, Brent. We have twin daughters that are 19, so the same age as Lisa's oldest, which was another reason why we bonded, having children the same age. One is in university at the University of Saskatchewan, getting her undergrad in sociology and hoping to get into law. The second one is working full time, and she is a musician and songwriter at heart. So her second song is coming out this Friday, the 22nd, and it's a co-written song and performed. And I'm super excited. Sorry, there's like a motorbike that decided to come by.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have some pets. Our sweet little Gracie Lou is a year and a half. She's a little Havanese puppy, and then we got a couple kitties. And yeah, I love my plants, and yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I would be outside, except now it gets dark at like basically 5:30, 7 already here.
yeah,
Oh, it's
yeah.
yeah, it's dark outside. But I wore this hoodie is both for gardening and for, inspiration and everything else. So
I was looking at that, thinking I need one of those. It's super cute.
yeah, I love it. I had matching sweatpants. I had the saying on the side too, and I wore it when we went to Spain. I wore it as like a when I went on the plane. I'm like, no, I'm gonna be comfortable, casual, and I love. Steve hates being embarrassed, but I love being embarrassing. And but the only thing is, and he didn't take a picture of me in it matching. And then when I got home, I washed the sweatpants with some other clothes, and it changed the color. So now they don't match.
Oh,
I know. But what can you do? There's something else. It after my live, you can put links to Joelle's music and her songs in
oh,
the
awesome.
comments.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. We'll do that.
And there's just some comments here that I'm going to read, and then I'll ask you the next question. Let's see. Samantha says hello, and then Mike Enders says, oops. Mike Ender says, wow, Lisa, that color looks great on you. So Steve has gone green, has he? LOL. Sorry for the bad joke. Wishing you a great week. Cheers. Thank you. And thank you. Actually, my eyes are green, so this isn't necessarily the green I usually wear, but I know green brings out the green in my eyes. But thank you for the
compliment. Also green.
Yes, actually, I think I knew that too. Samantha says you are an I think she's talking to you, not me. She says you are an inspiring woman.
Could be to you too, Lisa.
Maybe, but she wouldn't call me a woman. She'd call me just a. I'm learning how to be a lady. Yeah. Okay. That's all for comments right now.
Perfect.
Okay. So. Okay. Favorite color.
It would be like a sagey green.
Sagey. That's a nice color.
Yeah.
Number.
32. It keeps showing up to me.
That's cool. That's a very different number too.
I know.
Favorite music, band, or song?
Favorite? Well, of course, it's going to be my daughter Joelle. But if I'm going conventional, I really like Luke Combs, and I don't know any of his music.
Okay. Food.
Food. I like me a good steak. Yeah.
Favorite book?
Well, besides my book, I would say there's a couple. So To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. That's actually where I get Diana Lee from because my middle name's Lee.
Yeah.
And I admired her for her courage to write a book like that in a time where those sorts of books were not prevalent and the issues were not talked about. So, and then there's Dr. Edith Edgar, any of her work. She's a Holocaust survivor, and I found her work inspiring.
Very nice. Very nice. Before I forget, how do you like your steak?
Medium rare.
That's what I do too.
Yeah.
Yes. I guess my granddad liked it blue, and
can't do that.
For those of you who don't know, blue is you put it on the grill, you flip it over, and it's done. Okay, and favorite season.
I enjoy summer a lot. I think all seasons offer something great. I really love fall. I like how nature shows us that change can be beautiful.
Absolutely, yes. And I love Canada, especially on the prairies, for the 4 distinct seasons.
Oh, they're very distinct, yeah.
Here they're a little bit more blended, where it just feels like it's autumn or spring all the time. And
right.
All summer I was waiting for summer, but we had about a week in the spring of summer, and then we had about a week like last week or the week before of summer. But the rest has been rainy, and it could be the middle of winter, it could be spring. Like it's like BC weather.
Right.
It's very mild.
Okay, that makes sense.
But the seasons aren't as distinct, so I do miss that about Canada because, like you said, with the autumn changes, but then the winter, but then the spring brings new life and the regrowth.
And I love going and looking in my yard to see as the snowbanks melt, see where the little tulips are popping out. And
I know
lilies.
And I know that you've been working on your garden for a few years as well. And I know that if you weren't doing everything else that makes you exhausted, that you would probably have a garden like mine as well. People ask me about my garden, but hang on, I don't have a job outside of the house. My garden would not look like this if I was working a full-time job outside the house.
Yeah, and I hope to get there one day. That I can make more time for it. I do love it though. I know it does bring me joy.
I can see it in the few things that you do have. Like it's still you can still see the love.
Yeah.
Okay. What makes you unique?
Ooh, that's a good question, Lisa. My ability to be vulnerable in difficult conversation.
All right, I'll make it more difficult.
Okay.
I think we have a comment as well. So, Etienne says, hang on, I can't see the white on green. Did you know when you are coming? Oh, did you know when you are coming over to Canada, I wanted to plan a family vacation reunion, but need some dates. As soon as you figure it out, can you let me know? And Dan, we're coming in the summertime. Erica doesn't finish school till mid-July. So the end of July and hopefully all of August is when we'll be in Canada.
Awesome.
I know. Yes, it's been a while. We were there in 2019, which is cool because, you know, the pandemic. So it's cool that we missed that and we were there for 5 weeks.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
And then I'll let you know. I know Tina, my little sister, wants to do like a family camping thing as well. So we can talk about it later and figure out exactly when in that time is good for the. That's one thing I miss about Canada. I love technology. I love that we can keep in touch with and everything. But we have a really close family on both sides of my parents' families, and I miss weddings, funerals, like all the events, you know, and just and I seeing them camping together and being like, I'm supposed to be there too. But
yeah,
yes,
that's tough.
I'm excited to come back in the summer. All right, so hang on. Number 6, your greatest strength.
Compassion.
Your greatest weakness.
Compassion.
Isn't it funny how that works? Mine is on strength and weakness.
Yeah, yeah.
What inspires you or motivates you?
My kids motivate me. They motivate me because they watch me, and if they see mom achieve things, then they might feel that they can do it too, in whatever capacity that they choose.
And I think they are already showing that.
Yeah.
I think they're already stepping in mom's footsteps, and like not saying that dad doesn't have a role there too. He's a very strong person who, you know, you guys make a good unit, all 4 together.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Our kids are like adults and grown up now.
Doing life.
I know. It's actually, I said this to Steve too. I find this, maybe you don't because your kids have paths that they want to do, but I'm finding this with the late teens and early like adults, because they're adults now, so they get to make their own decisions. I'm finding this the hardest of the parenting because they have to do their own thing and you can't do it for them, but you can give them advice, but they don't need to necessarily take it. And it's just so hard to know that they're going to make their own mistakes. And we all made them. We all did stupid things and everything else, but now you have to watch and you can't do anything. And you're just like,
yeah, it's a real gear shift. Like when we became empty nesters, and that happened to be at the same time that I released this book, I was super sad because both moved out at once, and that was overwhelming. Which was probably why the book release was actually the right timing, because then I got to fill those times where I'd be traveling with sports and, you know, doing things with the kids with other things. So, I mean, it was a different, then we reconnect with your spouse and do things together, but then also it's a definitive moment where you can learn who you are. But it is interesting that you say it's hard to watch them do things and not take your advice, because I gave advice recently to one of my daughters and I was like, yeah, this is so good, and she's like, yeah, and then no, like, not that it was wrong, like her decision was wrong at all, it was just like, oh really? So like you didn't listen, and they have that free choice. So yeah, it's a total shifting of gears.
yeah.
That's weird.
And knowing that there's going to be good and bad, because we all made, like I said, stupid decisions and mistakes and things that other people looking at us, I mean, our friends did tell us, I'm sure, like sometimes, like, what are you doing, like, you know, and it's like, no, I got this, right? And then afterwards you're like, oh yeah, I see where they, you know, but, and so it's, I have to, maybe it's a little bit of a controlling thing, but I know I want them to, you know, be out of the nest and live their own life and everything else. But it's just difficult when you are like, no, be productive, do these things so you set yourself up better than I did, you know, like, and but they got to do their own thing. They got to, you know.
We also realize that that's where the marrow is, right? The marrow in the bone. That's where they're going to learn the biggest lessons that life can teach them. And then we have to be the supporting role that helps them when they fall.
Yeah. And I will do that. I'm good at that part. I don't want to be the one who like tries to prop them up, because falling.
Right.
There's a podcast I listen to. It's called How to Fail with Elizabeth Day. She's a
Yep.
journalist and stuff, and it's how to fail. And then she brings celebrities on and stuff, and they talk about their 3 biggest failures and how failing is what helps us succeed. Because some of
Yes.
your biggest failures are the things that make you grow the most.
So people are starting to reframe failure, like because it's so regimented in school with a grading system and you get accolades if you succeed, but in the failure in school or in sports or whatever capacity when you're a kid, it's building your character. So we're born to make mistakes and we shouldn't feel shame about that, right? So we got to rebrand that a bit.
Yeah, definitely. Inventions and everything are born out of the need to fix things or make things better or whatever, so the failure has to come first. And that's it. We've told the girls that too. Like, we have, our youngest is 15, and here school finishes at year 11. So this year right now is her last year with her GCSEs, which are the big exams. And we've told them all, and her too, and she's an empath, so I've told her especially this year, because last year they were doing mocks, which are like the exams but just to practice over and over.
Yeah.
And she's taken on everybody else's stress, and we've told them this isn't the end, because some parents make it like you need to get these marks on your GCSEs, this is going to change your whole life and it's the be all end all and everything else. And we've told all of them, do your best, and if you fail,
Yeah.
guess what, you can do them again. Like,
That's right.
it's not the end of the world. Do not stress. So I don't want her to stress about hers, but I know her, and I don't want her to take on all that energy that's going on at the school with the other year 11s stressing about it.
Right.
But yeah,
Makes sense.
it's fine. If you fail, you just try again.
Well, that's what life is all about. So, yeah, people need to understand that first off, it's their journey, not ours. And we take on more of a supporting role. And second of all, like their prefrontal cortex is not fully developed till you're 25. So that's like the beacon in the brain that's filtering in information and putting it in its proper filing system and bringing forward uh, information to use in conversation and all of these things. So we expect kids to do all the adult life things before the age of 25 when they really don't have that's where a lot of the bad decisions happen, is in those years, because they are action oriented. And I don't want to say that they're egotistical, but more ego driven, because they're more about themselves, and you grow into your compassion with others, and some come by it naturally, but all of these things help you make better decisions and more rational conversations with even your parents or anyone. So it's always interesting to see how much pressure we put on young kids. Here, go take out 100 grand and get a bunch of student loan debt and not know what you want to do, and then be unhappy, and then feel like everything, like you failed your parents if you decide that's actually not the career I want to do. So I've never put pressure on the girls. Like, if Julia wants to be a lawyer, great. If she doesn't get into law, that's okay. There's a different path for her. Like,
We just had this last week, and it's funny because like a lot of, I don't know why I'm so red. Maybe, anyways, we, how social media, it's not that you don't want to put your bad parts on social media. It's just that you don't want to put too much on because you don't want to look like a Debbie Downer. But when I come on here and say what my kids are doing and everything else, last year, when Aurora was in her bakery and patisserie course at college, so Aurora's the one who's 17, she'll be 18, and you have to be in school here till you're 18.
okay.
She would skip classes. She was good at it, and even her teacher knew she was good at it, but she would skip because she didn't like it. And it was like, so this is her second year, and already at the beginning of the year she was already saying she didn't want to do it and she wanted to quit and everything else. So we talked to her lead person, and they took her out of the course. So now she needs to figure out what she wants to do, because she needs to be in school, even though she's going to be 18 at the end of the month, which is like in a couple weeks. She needs to be in school in her 18th year. Had she been 18 before the year started, she wouldn't have had to go to school this year, but she needs to still have 1 year of school. However, the thing is that it was really hard for us to say, yeah, okay, quit, because I just told her, like, when she said she was unhappy, or the lady that I talked to said she was unhappy and everything else, I was like, I get that. When I was younger, if I was unhappy at a job and I was done there, I was done. Like, I couldn't do it anymore. And my parents never understood that, because my dad worked at the same job for 40 years and everything else. But with my depression and the way I am, it's just that, no, I can't do it. My biggest goal in life is to be happy. And right now it's too much. I'm not happy. I don't want to do this. And so I've quit a lot of jobs in my life, but that's okay. That's who I am. So I understand if she is not happy. I don't want to force her to do another year if this isn't what she wants to do and she's not happy. However, my concern was that she didn't like the fact that she had to do 7-8 hour days doing the same subject. And we've explained to her that no matter what you take, you're going to have to do that. And then once you have a job, guess what? That's going to be a 7-8 hour or more shift doing the same thing. So, if you're doing it for the right reasons. But yeah, so we've had exactly that situation now and we've let her quit because I want her to be happy. I don't want to push her into anything she doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
But but she has to realize that in anything you do, there's going to be good, even if it's something you love doing, like Joelle with her music. And that's what she wants to go into, is music. And that's her and her sister Allison, the one that's same age as your twins.
Yeah.
They both did music in high school, and their instrument was their voice. So
Beautiful.
they both studied that, but they also realized that once they took that thinking it would be easy because they love music, no, it's not, because there's the theory.
Oh, yeah.
There's so much work to it, as you probably know with Joelle. So it's the same thing. So anyways, I just needed to rant about that and vent and tell everyone that, yeah, we have one that's quit college, but she's got to figure something out, because if she doesn't go back to school, we get fined for every day that she's not in school.
Holy.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, that is interesting. It's interesting to see different cultures and how, how they handle kids and education. Interesting.
Yeah. So Erica, like I said, she's on her last year, but she's only 15. She, and her birthday's in July, so she'll finish at 15. She'll be finished high school, but then she has to be in school till she's 18. So that's when you do like 2 years of college, or so she wants to be a drama teacher. So it's not hard for her, because she's going to go to college and university to be a drama teacher. So she'll be in school for a few years after high school.
Nice.
So she knows her plan. And I still don't know my plan. Like, one of the reasons I never went to post-secondary, all my siblings did. I didn't, because like you said, with the student loans and everything else, I never knew really what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do interior design at one point, but I didn't have the marks to get in. So besides that, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I didn't want to waste money and time going to school if I didn't know it was something that I wanted to do or stick with. It didn't make sense to me.
Well, and we've shifted from being the culture that has the same job for 40 years like your dad, to having 7, 8, 9 different career paths throughout our journey of working. So I'm on probably my third or fourth, probably at least fourth actually, and I've stuck with it because it's actually it's a demanding career, but because I grew up in so much trauma, I need chaos, but I need to be able to control the chaos. And so, I mean, it's kind of a balancing act between those two things. And there's safety because it's not happening in my home, it's happening at my workplace. So I have I can leave it behind, but I still get I want to call it fix of problem solving, because I love figuring stuff out and just accomplishing something. So I guess that's something that comes with the childhood I had.
Right. And for me, it is like, I'll go into a job and I'll most of it's been in the food industry, and I will like OCD clean the place and make everything. But once I know all the systems, once I know how everything works and I'm doing my best job at it, I don't have a challenge anymore. I get bored and it becomes redundant. And that's when I'm just like, no, okay, I can't do it anymore. Like I have nothing.
So. I can relate with that completely. And this is honestly the first career I've ever had, but working in local government where I didn't just figure out how to do it and then be bored. I figured out how to do it. There are parts of my job that are very much the same as when I started. But then it's always changing. The industry is always changing. Things are always changing. Local government is its own beast. Our councils change. Essentially, I have 7 bosses, so those change with elections. And so there's a lot of moving parts, and it is challenging and interesting, and it keeps my attention for the most part. So.
Yeah, that's what I would need in a job as well if I was. The thing I loved the most that I did, and I only did it for 1 season, but I would have continued doing it if I stayed in Canada, is landscape construction.
Oh,
I only did it for
love that.
Oh, I did. Okay, so I got to be outside. Check. It's summertime, like spring, summer, fall, but it's still check. I'm getting paid for this. Check. It's a workout every day, so I'm getting paid to work out. Check. Like, and I'm learning and I'm building. Like, I like, doing stuff with my hands. Like, it was everything.
Yeah. And it's creative, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so much to learn. So much. Like, even if you're, I could have kept doing it. And if I needed to get a job here, as long as my body lets me, because unfortunately we keep getting older, but then I would do it here. If I had to go out and work, I would love to do something like that.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful.
All right. So, 6, 7. I read that. 8. What's your biggest passion?
Service. I like serving others through the lessons that I learned and helping them see that they can heal their lives too.
That's nice. And I think you'll do that even just with your book. So you don't have to be in everybody's living room, but your book is, and that will be inspiring and passionate and helping people.
That's the driving force.
Yes. Yes. I can't tell you how excited I am about your book. I mean, obviously there's some heartbreaking things in there, but I also know that you wouldn't be who you are without every single thing that happened to you. But the book is just so inspiring, and your life story is so the positive also is like you can change lives with what you've been.
You really can. You can take pain and make it purposeful.
Yeah, and you're doing that, and I'm just so happy and proud and excited for you.
Thank you.
What are your hobbies? Not that you have time for hobbies right now.
Well, there's the gardening. Writing was a hobby to begin with, and now is like a kind of a side gig. What are my hobbies? I enjoy spending time with my kids and cooking good food. Travel. I love to go to other countries and even just touring Canada and seeing what's out there. Animals, anything nature, hiking. Yeah, anything outdoors.
Good. What are your fears?
My fears. Oh, I don't ever want to lose my children. That would be my worst fear in my entire life. And I hate spiders.
Is it like arachnophobia? Are you actually like terrified?
No,
like
I work by myself for the most part, so I've had to learn how to kill the spiders on my own. But not a fan.
Okay, let's see. Oh, and Jen said that's really great. Thanks. What I said about when we're coming to Canada. Samantha says Erica will finish a little bit earlier because it's her GCSE year. Oh yeah, that's true. And that is it. I need to just give me 1 second. You can talk to the audience for a moment. I just need to grab my portable charger. I meant to plug in my phone before I started, but I'll be right back.
Okay. So this is my lovely little yard. It's kind of having its fall. So I planted this rose here, right there. I planted that one this spring, and it's taken right off, and I have another rose that's in full bloom. Then I have a little hydrangea down here. And this dogwood behind me was literally a stick that I planted 5 years ago, and I got another dogwood across from me that got pretty huge on me. sadly, this time of year, I kind of let the rest of the flower pots go, and I just kind of let the perennials do their thing. I'll probably split some of my lily bulbs and move those around. Yeah, I got a cherry tree, which is over here, and it actually had 2 babies this year, so we got a cherry crop, and I was pretty excited about that. I made some cherry pie filling and put that in the freezer. We've made some salsa and 23 jars of pickles. So yeah, I like to do my own canning if I can. And and our garden wasn't the best. We harvested potatoes yesterday, but they taste really good, but there's just not a lot of them. Some of them got really huge, and some plants only had 2 really big potatoes, but honestly, 1 potato for my husband and I is pretty much a meal of those size. Let's see what else I've got. I've got some lovely lights. I love garden lights. I shop at Costco, so Costco has these beautiful, I think they're called Edison bulb outdoor lights. You have to plug them in, but I love those, and we leave them up all season, all seasons, because in the winter I like how the lights look against the fence and the glistening snow. I go for a couple walks a day to get my fitness in. Yeah, that's kind of me. I've got a lovely little yard here. I bought a new garden set in the spring and gave the girls the old one. And yeah, I really enjoy Lisa. I've known her for many years. I'm gonna say like 2005 maybe. MySpaces. Does anybody remember that? The MySpaces where you used to blog and then get to know people that way. That was when the internet was still, it felt like pretty new, because I learned about the internet when I was in college in 1995. It was probably Windows 95 that I learned on, but didn't quite understand what I was doing, all these operating systems and all of that. But yeah, I've known Lisa a long time, and it's so cool to be able to have a good conversation with her. Hello.
Hi. Either one of my kids stole it out of my garden toolbox that's in the front entrance, or I left it outside. So I'll have to look where I set it last, because then I had to run around and find a different.
I gave him a little tour of the yard, my roses, and hydrangeas, and
Now I'll have something that I need to watch the live for.
there you go. The dogwood that was just a stick that's now like 5 feet tall.
Oh, what color are the twigs on your dogwood?
They're just this green right here.
So,
and then I've got another dogwood behind me or in front of me that's the same one.
With dogwoods, if you cut them back like however tall, when you cut them back in the season, the newer twigs have the best color. So if you want them to look bright and look good in the winter, as something to, and you can get one called Midwinter Fire, and I know you guys can get it there. But it looks, I have 3 of them, and they're just getting tall enough now to really make an impact. But they start like, I can't remember if it's red at the bottom and then go orange, or vice versa. So they look like a fire in the distance, the twigs.
Yeah,
so
this one's actually green and the other one's got red.
Yeah, so if you cut them back in the summertime, like next year in the summer, cut them back, and the new growth will be really bright, or in the spring, and then that will look really great in the winter, give you winter interest.
Oh, I like that.
Especially
where it's not covered by snow.
Yeah, exactly. Where there's snow, then you'll have them sticking above the snow and give you something to look at. So fears. What cheers you up?
What cheers me up? My puppy.
Aww.
She's just great at 1.5 years, and she's so much joy and makes all of us just laugh.
Aww.
Yeah, she always cheers me up.
That's sweet. Especially as an empty nester, it's nice to have her, hey?
It is so good. There was plan with that.
Yeah. 11, 12. Do you have, and if you do, what is/are your heroes?
Well, I could say Oprah, because I really like her and admire her and what she's done. But I want to say my mom and my sister for what they endured, because I got to learn so much from them about life and how not to take it for granted, even though sometimes we forget that.
Absolutely, because if you believe that we're all here to learn lessons and teach others, or learn ourselves or to teach others, they were both here as teachers,
Yeah.
and that their sacrifice was for the benefit of others, which is
Yes.
heartbreaking but inspiring and beautiful at the same time.
Yes. Totally.
It makes
Totally.
me want to cry. I have an older sister too, so I know
Mm.
what it's like to grow up close with your siblings, and it just, yeah, it's beautiful,
Yeah.
but bittersweet.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the strangest thing you've ever eaten?
Strangest thing I've ever eaten? I don't know. Skip. I don't know.
Have you eaten puffballs, like the big mushrooms?
Mm,
No,
Portobello's?
the
No, not the
big
puff.
the big white puffball
No.
mushrooms. They
No.
grow wild there. Like, it was in Saskatchewan that I tasted them. And I didn't like them. It's gross. I love mushrooms, but I did
I
not like the
hate
puffballs.
liver. Like, that's disgusting.
I didn't really like it until Saskatchewan again, when I tasted it with not just liver and onions, but with gravy and bacon. I was like, yeah, you're like, no,
No.
you can still taste the
My
liver.
dad's favorite dish anytime I took him out for supper was liver and onions with bacon and gravy. And
Yeah, see,
no.
it's a thing, but I didn't know about it until
No,
Saskatchewan.
no thanks. No.
Okay. What's the last thing you bought?
The last thing I bought was a really pretty pair of boots from Poppy Barley online. They were too much money, but I love them.
Well, you've loved them then. They were worth it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Which TV show or movie could you see yourself living in?
I really like Virgin River.
Haven't heard of it.
Oh, it's a really good Netflix show. Also like Yellowstone, but I would love to live in Friends.
In that world with money.
With money, and I could be off on a Wednesday afternoon and not actually be working.
Yeah, it would be difficult. It would be difficult to live that New York life in Friends without money.
Yeah. True. True.
Yeah. Okay. Have you ever danced in the rain?
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the way to live.
That's right.
Have you made a bucket list?
A long time ago, actually. That's something I should look at. I kind of have a goals list going, but I should create a new one again. So thank you. Yeah, I'll do that again.
And I did this years ago too, and now I've heard of it being like, just like on a to-do list. In the beginning of your day, if you write your to-do list of things you need to get done, but at the end of your day, you can write things that you got done and check them off. So you know that you have been accomplishing things, even if they weren't on your to-do list for that day. With the same thing with the bucket list. Not just, people shouldn't just make bucket lists of things they want to do, but make a list of accomplishment, all the things that you did do, like
I did do that
rain.
recently. Yeah. I did do that recently. My marketer had me do that. My list of wins, she called it.
Yes, nice.
Yeah.
And exactly. And some people, they don't realize how much they have actually done until you sit down and
No,
think
and it was
about it.
way harder than I thought it would be. And she's like, you're overthinking it. Because I think it has to be like some grand thing,
No, but
it's
like I said, dancing in the rain is a check.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, if you could retire tomorrow, what would you do to fill your days?
I would be an author and keynote speaker, which, people would say isn't retired, but it is my life work. So, and you never ever want to stop doing your life work. Right?
Well, then you can call yourself half retired already, because you're doing it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm half retired. Perfect. And I probably would live, ideally, I'd like a couple homes, one home in Saskatoon, just so it's quick and easy for kids if they move away, and for me to travel with my keynotes, accessibility to the airport, and then another home at a lake would be ideal, so we can get into some nature and peace and just be kind of surrounded by some grounding.
Absolutely. I agree with both of those. And I understand the one needing one in the city for all those types of things as well. What's your preferred type of physical activity?
I do a lot of walking. I also enjoy yoga, but I should do more of it. The problem with my yoga is that the pets want to do
Yes.
yoga with you, the puppy in particular, or you're doing downward dog and the cat jumps on your back. Yeah, it's a challenge, but it's also kind of funny. Like,
You have
yeah,
to
it's
teach a puppy, and I've had to do this with my dog when I was in Canada, but also here. I have to put out 2 mats so that,
one for the
yes,
puppy.
because they want to lie on it or do whatever. Yeah, so I put one out for the dog.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I
Yeah.
like it.
And
Good.
I too need to get back into my yoga, definitely. Okay, if you had a time machine, where would you go?
I would go back to 4-year-old Diana and make sure that she knows that none of this is her fault and she had no control over the adults in her life.
Okay, that if you believe in all the spiritual woo-woo stuff that I believe in, that is actually a therapy you can do, and that
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Interfamily systems. I'm going to be taking I've got a person that's going to take me through that journey of going back to my childhood. And then the next thing I want to do is get certified as an interfamily systems practitioner.
Okay, well then let me know when you've done that, and then you can do a session on me, and I can go back and talk to myself.
Sounds good.
Yes, and
Yeah.
there's also and I don't know if I mean, I guess we probably all need to do it, but I've also heard of like with ancestral trauma and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Going into past
Yeah.
lives or dealing with, and so I wanted to look into that more as well, because
Me
even
too.
if we've had a good life, there has to be something. Like there's a lot of alcoholism in my family, and yes, there's the hereditary depression. So that might be, the alcohol might be masking it, but it must come from somewhere. So it's something I want to look into
Yeah,
eventually.
like I carry a deep passion for trauma. So when you talk about that intergenerational trauma, there's a couple authors that I would definitely recommend on that. Dr. Bruce Perry wrote a book with Oprah called What Happened to You? And then Dr. Gabor Mate is a Canadian physician who's he initially was in Budapest, Holland, during the Holocaust. And he talks about the trauma that his mom had and how it affects the children, even in infancy, even in utero. So I ended up with childhood asthma. And it's been proven scientifically by both those doctors that the higher the cortisol is in the children, the higher the likelihood of childhood asthma. And that's why you quote unquote grow out of it. Your cortisol levels may level out when you remove yourself from the situation that you're in. So, his book, The Myth of Normal, um, is amazing. And I actually have a plan of, like, not a plan, I have a vision of speaking with him one day at an event and just interviewing him. And I love learning about what makes us tick and the past trauma. Eckhart Tolle is amazing too. The Power of Now, The New Earth, all of those good things. The collective pain body, I think he speaks of. So yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you're spiritual or scientific,
No,
because the
comes from
DNA
both
and
ends.
our cells and, things, what I mean? So obviously if the things you eat while you're pregnant affect your baby, then obviously the things you go through or the things you have gone through and you're carrying in yourself is going to affect your
Yeah,
baby. So yeah, it doesn't matter if you're spiritual or scientific, there's truth to it.
yeah, yeah. We're all energy at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. You're hosting a dinner, whether dead or alive, famous or not. Who are your guests?
Ooh, good one. Gabor Mate. So I want to pick his brain. Joe Rogan, because I think he would be really interesting. He's also interviewed some really interesting guests. I would have Oprah at that table. Um, who else would I have? I think that would be three really, really good, powerful speakers that I would
And
want to
so
talk.
different. Like it would be a very interesting conversation at that table.
Oh yeah, and they all have, there's a common thread of wanting the truth, authenticity, Vulnerability. Oh, we could add Brene Brown in there. She would add a really good element of that. And a passion to help people. And so they all have that. And I feel like that would probably be why I would choose that.
That would be a power team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so do you have any weird, spooky, paranormal, spiritual, alien, or cryptid stories?
yeah. So when you grow up like I did, you kind of become a natural empath. My mom was nonverbal, so I had to always feel her energy to figure out what she needed. And when I had my situation transpire with my sister, I also honed that skill. Didn't realize it. When I was, I want to say grade 7 or grade 8, my brother's best friend died. He was in a car accident, and all evening my brothers were out with him and this other guy's brother. And I kept telling my sister that there was a car accident, somebody's been in a car accident. And then the next day in the morning, I'm at a volleyball tournament and I find out that yes, in fact, there was a car accident. Yes, in fact, someone did die because I had told my sister that someone died. So there was that instance. I go into some of them in my second book, so I'm not going to go into my other instances, but I will say there's been some very sacred moments in my life where I've been cusp of the two worlds joining.
Okay, sorry, hang on one second. You cut out there, so say
Okay.
your last thing again.
I've been on the cusp of, I'm going to call it two worlds joining, and felt the energy, which I would say that would be what Jesus was calling the peace beyond all understanding. And so I've been at that, and it was an incredibly sad time in my life, but it was the most beautiful time in my life. And I'll explain that better in book 2.
Okay, yes, and I mean to not get
Yeah.
us as excited already. Like I'm already excited for book 2, but just another teaser.
Yeah, no, it was a powerful moment. And I've had those, I have those moments. I can tell, you can tell me one thing, but I'll always know your energy never lies to me.
Ah, well, I don't really. I did learn something from Steve because I used to say I don't lie, and it's true. I don't. I try not to ever lie, but he taught me that there's a thing called lying by omission.
Mm.
So I'm like, oh, I do that.
Yeah.
So if you're like, did you do this? It's like, no, I didn't do that. But like it's like, no, I didn't. Well, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I would do it with like where so I'm not lying, but I haven't actually.
I haven't just given you the whole thing.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh,
So
that counts. Oh, then I guess.
I think it's more so like you can tell me that you're having a good day, but I can feel that you're not.
Oh, right.
You can tell me that you're happy, but I can feel that you're not.
Right. Yes.
Right.
And that comes with being an empath as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That our vibes tell more than our mouth might. Yeah.
They tell the story.
Yeah. If you could go back to, you might have already just said this. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is the same thing. So the question is, if you could go back to your child self, what age would you go to, and what advice would you tell your younger self? But you already answered that.
Yeah.
With the time machine. So, question 24. What do you feel you've learned in this lifetime so far? You don't have to give just like, because there obviously that's in the book as well. Like there's so many.
Yeah, I have learned there are no guarantees.
That's true. And question 25. Where do you see yourself in the future?
Well, I see myself eventually retired from my day job, being a keynote speaker around the table of very like-minded minds, helping people become a better version of who they already are, and maybe tapping into those authentic places that they have shelved because they've put everybody else's priorities ahead of their own. I would also like to develop a program perhaps to help support municipal government employees in our profession, because it can be quite, as much as it is a challenge, it can be quite demanding because it's political as well. So I would like to do that. I got big dreams, girl. Big dreams. I would love for my books to be a Netflix series or a movie.
Well, I know that you know what manifestation is,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I could absolutely see that as well.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me. Now I'm going to be excited about waiting for that. Now I got to wait like 20 or 25 years for that. Let's make it
No,
quicker.
no, it won't take that long. I just got to get the 3 books out, and then I'm gonna get the plan is to get like an agent
Good,
and
good,
work
good,
on
good.
that.
All right, I'll help
Yeah.
you. I'll put that out there as well. I'll try to
Okay, go do
manifest
that. Thank you.
that for you as well. Okay, so the book, you have a copy with you too, so we can hold it up and smile together. So exciting.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We've talked about it a lot, but and I like that we just give people like hints at it because it's absolute. I don't think that there'd be anybody who would be disappointed if they bought this and read it. There's nobody who'd be like, oh, it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. Like, it's more amazing than I even thought it was going to be. And
There you go. Sorry.
that's
I
okay.
trust you.
That's that's all right. So what are some of the basic questions that people ask you in your interview when you're promoting the book?
So a lot of them want to know like how I managed to make my way through that and kind of like the tools that I used to, I guess, navigate as a child and then into adulthood, and what kind of those pivotal moments were where I decided to stop my shame blame story and carry on with life. And my answer to that is always, you have to go in to go out. So you have to go inside and kind of go through all of the ashes of the mess that was burned, and see if there's any nuggets of wisdom in there. And I found so many nuggets of wisdom within the ashes. But my process to get there is the writing. And so it's interesting too, because everybody always asks, when's book two? When's book two? And I was putting pressure on myself, and I wanted to have it done for the lead conference. It's actually might, kind of crazy, but I don't know if it will. But it will be done shortly after. It is very emotional work. Like yesterday, I was writing a chapter. So what I do is I'll write chapters, like you said. I kind of just have to get it out, and then I go through and I add development, like so visuals, audibles, feelings. I have to add all those and make sure that they're on point. Like, will the reader feel how I'm feeling? Will they see what I'm seeing? Because lots of comments were, I can see, it was like being in the passenger seat of my life.
Absolutely.
And they could see and feel and hear and taste and smell all of those things. So I make sure all the key questions are answered: the who, what, when, where, why, and how, are answered in each and every chapter. And then I go through the editing process with a professional, and we work through smoothing it all out. And sometimes they're the ones that catch the, who is this character? You just introduced them, but in my brain, I've had them in my life my whole life. So it's like,
Right,
oh,
right.
as
But
if I
that's,
better
I
explain.
think, what you said before, why it's important to have an
Yeah,
editor, because
yeah,
the person writing might not even catch that, but somebody
yeah.
looking at it from the
No,
outside will.
no. So that was good. I just, yeah, lots of times I go up and I do my speech in front of schools. So the connection with students, uh, that is my jam. I love talking to kids because I was that kid that had the trauma. Um, it speaks to both sides though, because the kids who aren't having a really difficult childhood, um, they can understand maybe where the kids that are coming from a little bit, because they get to see. And then the kids that are in the mess can see someone can make it through and be a success and tell their story and be vulnerable, and they always come up to me after for some one-on-one time. It's really special.
Yeah, because somebody sees them
Yeah,
without
yeah,
necessarily seeing them. They're like, wait a second, that's what my home is like, or that's kind of what I feel
yeah,
like.
yeah.
And but they
and,
won't tell,
and
they won't,
That's
you know.
right. So I create, this is my biggest thing, my kind of mantra when I'm going in, is creating safety for people, because I didn't feel safe when I was a kid. So I'm a weaver of emotions that hopefully help you feel understood and heard and safe. And if whether you share or not, as long as those core emotions were touched in your heart, then there can be healing and growing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And like you just said, I think it does go to both sides because I had quite a good childhood and upbringing, and we just assume other people's lives are like ours. I didn't realize until I was older that, especially with so many immigrants that going to school with me, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, there's people
Yeah.
from, Canada is
Yeah.
a cultural mosaic, so everybody is from somewhere else, but we're all together. So I feel like we're just peers. But we have no idea what some of those people have gone through in their original countries, or like even if they're from there, their home lives or
Yeah.
whatever. Like it took me as an adult to realize, oh my God, no wonder they acted out in school, or they were, not always focused, or like you don't. So for you to go to schools and talk to people, like you said, not only are the ones who are going through stuff being seen or heard or felt like somebody
Mm-hmm.
else that this is like, but the ones that it's not being naive or ignorant. You just don't know what you don't know, right? So
Well,
until
yeah.
you know it. So if you
Well,
know
there, yeah, like you shed that light and you're like, okay, maybe it just gets you curious, I guess. And like Brene Brown says, you just have to be in the curiosity. And when you're in the curiosity, you can usually find your way to some sort of understanding. And it's like I might not be in those shoes, but this can lead me to empathy for that person. And then and that even can be in your own family, like if you don't have if you've got family members that you don't understand, um, being in curiosity can help you frame out being like, yeah, I bet you this isn't about me. I bet you it's about some things that had happened and how they feel, and they don't feel seen and they don't feel heard. And when you shift the focus from it being about you to getting curious and maybe seeing it through their eyes, then you can do a lot of healing. So yeah,
so
I love that stuff.
besides the writing process being therapy, obviously, and going through this, did you go through any therapy for your trauma, or is it just an ongoing process?
Um, as a kid, apparently my dad was told we should, but we never did. We went to church regularly as kids until my grandma passed, I believe. So that was always important to me because when I lost my grandma, it felt like I lost my world. She was my best friend and my biggest fan. So my faith was really important to me then. As an adult, I did go to some grief counseling, which was good and interesting. And then when I switched jobs in 2017, or places of employment, I went to see a doctor, just my family doctor, and he's like, come back every Friday afternoon for the next couple months. And he kind of gave me free therapy because he he gave me a quiz, and it was like that exact test for, do you have depression or PTSD? And I came back that I had PTSD, not only from my childhood but from my former workplace. So then I saw him regularly and we just talked, and got me curious about things and books, podcasts, friends, my kids, my husband. Everybody was just, I had too many people to not live for, you know what I mean? And I wanted to live for me too. So
I
yeah.
think I'm wondering too, and you don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but me and you met online, again, like 20 years ago. And I lived in Alberta and you lived in Saskatchewan. So it wasn't really near enough to hang out. When I moved to Saskatchewan, though, we were closer, but we never got together.
I know.
For me, I felt like you were a bit standoffish in the way that it's like, yes, it's great to have her as an online friend, but I don't really know her, and I'm just not ready to, like, connect in real life. Like I felt, but I didn't take offense to it. I just felt like, all right, I put it out there. She's not taking it. It's
Yeah.
fine. Like, take offense to it. I
Yeah.
just felt like you weren't. And then I moved here, and then I feel like you came out of your shell even more with everything going on, and then I think we connected more now. And now there's that, like, dang,
Yeah.
we lived close together and we didn't.
Yeah. I think the place that I was at in 2000 and I want to say 2005 to about 2010 was full of really weird friendships. And they weren't always healthy, so I was definitely guarded. They were competitive. It was more about what you owned, what your kids were doing, what what events they were in, what you were like, just like where did you go shopping, where did you buy your clothes, like that kind of crap. And then I have a whole chapter about this in my second book, and it's gonna maybe stir the pot, but I don't even care. About like this is a really good example. I had a friend that lost her husband on Christmas Day in 2006, and we went to the funeral on New Year's Eve, and like literally, these guys were in their late 20s, early 30s, and she's pregnant with their second baby. She's 9 months pregnant. And we don't go to the New Year's Eve party that we had been invited to because we had just been at a really sad thing that we couldn't even put words to and got judged for that, right? So,
But
all of a sudden there's like, oh, they didn't come and blah, blah, blah. And these were supposed to be my friends. So enter Lisa in this kind of dynamics that I was already in. I was probably, well, I know I was kind of in a fight or flight mode of survival, and in a community that I'm not from. It was just different. And now I feel like I have such a great team of angel friends. My bestie lives in town. We haven't been able to connect much either just because my agenda was quite full. But, we still talk pretty much every day via text or something. We'll video chat. I've got a lifelong best friend who lives in Saskatoon, so she's not far away. But, it is like I've grown as a person, and because I'm allowing myself to feel, to find those friendships that feel safe. I trust more now because I didn't trust before. So yeah, no, that was definitely part on me. Just you did reach out, and now I just want to come to meet you in person, even though you're an hour and a half away from me before. But it's a really good excuse to go to Europe.
absolutely, yep, yep.
Yeah.
And I will be back next summer. So, and I'm sure we'll make it out to Saskatchewan because when I lived there for 7 years, I made friendships there too.
Yes,
People that I'd
that'd be
like,
lovely.
yeah. But yes, like I said, I honestly, we were friends for long enough that I didn't take offense to it because there's certain places, you know what I mean? Like you said, you had, especially if you have the trust issues and everything else, it's nice to have those friends that are at a distance. You don't let them too close because then they can't hurt you, but they don't go anywhere because they've been where they are. You want to keep them in place where they are, and that's what me and
Yeah.
you and Lisa Young and we were internet friends. So I was like, it's not like she's not being my friend. It's not like she's deleting me. I just didn't feel like you were ready for it. Me in
Yeah.
real life. That
Yeah.
and like I didn't take offense to it. I'm just sad that because we lived close and
I
now we're apart.
know. I
But
know.
you are even a better version of yourself. Like seeing you grow in these last 20 years has been so amazing. Like you are just so bright and outgoing and you're just shining now.
I would
You've always had this
say the
spark.
same about you
Oh,
because
thank
look
you.
at you. You're doing the same thing. You picked up your life. You made it so much better for yourself and your children, and you have this fantastic ability with plants and teaching us, and sharing all of the beautiful things that you share on Facebook and all your little posts. And I love your little disclaimer: just because I post it doesn't mean I'm going through it. So true. And I love it. I think we align. So it's
Yes.
it's a nice process.
I had to do that with my Spotlight Sundays because it says Spotlight Sundays. I'm putting the spotlight on an issue, but every time I would post something, people would be like, "Oh, like," they would comment like I was talking about me specifically with whatever the issue was. So I had to put that on there. Like, this is just something that
All good,
my
people. All good. Just like
yeah,
something, if it resonated with me, maybe it'll resonate with you.
Yes, and I am
Yeah.
happy. I am happy that we are friends now too, and I know that because we've been friends for so long, that with your busy schedule and everything else, that even if we don't connect often, that we are those safe friends. Where like other people who I've had on here, and they say one of them, that who was it that was just on? Oh, Aislinn, my friend Aislinn, who said that one of the things she loves about me is that she knows that even if we don't talk for months or even years, which has never happened, but like that, we can just pick up where we left off and everything's great. And I think that is how you and I are. And I'd love to have Lisa Young as well. I have met her because I went to Ontario and I stayed at their, you know, it's funny is even, I don't know if it was the first time I was there, but I just, when I got home to their house, I just lied on the couch and I slept. Like I had a nap in the living room on the couch as if it was just my house. Like it just felt like family. And
Yeah.
stranger on the internet.
Beautiful.
I know, and I love her, and I miss them, and I haven't been to Ontario in so long. But with technology and everything else, it just it wasn't a mistake that we had that little group together on MSN Messenger back in the
Yeah.
day.
No, I agree. I agree.
So I'm happy for you.
Beautiful.
I thought book 2 was coming out in October. That's what I even told everyone at the beginning of this.
No, that's what it's supposed to, but we'll see.
Well,
Stay
I'll
tuned.
wait. I'll wait because I have to. I can't do anything else.
You have to wait.
I can read this one again, but
But
I
you know
can't.
what? I also learned that because it is such emotional work, that it can't be rushed in the sense of like just put it on paper because everybody wants it. I need, I feel the emotion as it heals me. Um, yeah,
No, I
God,
would wait
it's working
20
through me.
years if
Spirit's
I
working
needed
through
to.
me. Yeah.
For it to be the right. I absolutely agree. There is no rush to it. It needs to. It'll come out when it's supposed to. And
Well,
guess
yeah,
what?
and
Mine's signed by the author.
yes, it is. You paid a lot of postage for that, baby.
Worth it. I wish you were getting the money instead of the post, but it was worth it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Awesome.
This was
Yeah.
great. And I would love to have you as my guest again, especially seeing we got through all the questions. We talked about the book. Then we could just chat about plants or anything.
Yeah.
And don't forget the links for Joelle's
Yes,
music
I
in
will
the
for
comments.
sure.
And,
Okay.
and you can put a link to, well, your book's available on Amazon.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And where, okay, so this is the thing with Amazon, and I feel like this with music too, with some of my musician friends. I want to buy their albums, but I don't want to buy it from somewhere if they're not getting most of the money. I want to buy it to support them.
Right. So we
Where's
do
the best
get
way to buy your book?
other than directly from me, that would be the most that I would get. But Amazon's actually pretty good.
Oh,
I
are
get
they?
pretty good profit. Yeah, I get a pretty good cut from them. So which is nice because if we can keep publishing costs down, which they can, then I can get a better profit. And you know, I used to have this money block, Lisa, for so many years because my dad, we grew up not with like not a lot. That's chronicled in book 1 as well. But now I'm like looking at events that I'm going to be at, and I'm thinking, okay, I can use this money to pay for the interfamily systems workshops, and then I can use that to become trained, and then I can use that money to help with the editor costs and the web designer costs and all of the things that are kind of like, I want to say, the back office to being an authorpreneur. So now that it's like, oh yeah, well, I need to make this money and I deserve to make this money, and it's good because then I use it to pay it forward. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know what? I totally get what you're saying. We grew up like middle class, but I always say we weren't poor, but my dad was cheap. My dad and my mom grew up poor. So my dad made good money because he had a good job and everything else, but he was very frugal, which isn't a bad thing. But especially being children of the parents from the war and everything else, it makes sense why they were like that. But like you said, with that block of money, and then having my own experience, as you know, when I lived in Saskatchewan, not having any money and everything else like that, that is a definite. I always said that though. I always said I would not have wanted to know what it's like to be rich without having been poor first.
Oh yeah.
Then you do not take it for granted. But being with Steve, and I'm not saying we're like living this lush like lifestyle where I can just throw money around, but it's taken me quite a few years to accept that that I can buy something a little bit nicer than I did before. I don't have to get the cheapest one. It's funny how that mindset like has to change. And then I do try to tell myself, like, as you know, with reading some of these motivational books and stuff like that, and they talk about like money is just it comes and it goes, right? It flows. It needs to keep flowing.
It flows. It's energy.
Yes. So it's not, it needs to come in and go out. And yeah, there's no reason that we can't have large amounts of it, even if it's
That's right.
and I don't need like huge mansions or 10 houses, or I don't even want that lifestyle. I do not want that lifestyle, but I have a vision in my head of how I want my life. And honestly, I have to say that for the most part, we're almost there.
Yeah, like that pool's goals, man.
Oh my God. I know. Actually, I need to go in it tonight because I haven't done mine today yet. So I was going to go in after my
goals.
Yeah. You know what? As you know, growing up in the lake country, like in Canada and everything else, it is like having a piece of a lake in my own back garden. Like I cannot express to people. I was talking to my mom and sister, and I know if they were here, they would go in it with me. And Allison, the 19-year-old, comes in with me too, because they're like mermaids, you know, growing up near lake.
Yeah.
Like and I was talking to my mom and sister, and I was saying, and Steve was sitting right beside me because he doesn't get it. Why, like every time we go to the seaside or wherever, I'm just like, can I go in the water? I need to go swim? Like, you know, and why is the sea out? Because it's like the tide's out. I'm like, oh my God, I don't get to go swimming. And they just don't get it. But I said it to my mom and sister, and my mom's just like, I don't know, we're just water people. And she just said it. So I'm like, yeah, that's what it is. We're just water people.
But our body's 90% water, and you think about the moon and the connection with water, and our body's in the moon and the connection with water, and it's re-energizing.
Absolutely. It's water is a good, what is it called? Like Inuit? No, into, well, like energy. Like, what am I trying to say? What's the word that when it's good for electricity to flow through? Conduit.
Conduit. Yep.
For energy. And then, like you said, it's cleansing, it's refreshing. There's definitely a spiritual thing for me going in there. And then where it is in my garden, there's a big apartment building behind our house that looks down into our back garden. But because that's like against the fence, when we're in there, nobody can see. Like it's, I can't explain it. It's
that's
so
perfect.
It's so
perfect.
It is. I love it. So it's like, it was like one of the things that was missing in my life. And now I don't feel that. I mean, I still would, even if we were at the seaside, I'd still want to go in the sea and in the lakes and everything else. But I can go like swim. It's not even about like swimming. It's just like, I can go do that any day, even if it is cold. I still have it right there. Like
I'm
there. So happy about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm at that point too, where I know what I want, and there is no reason why we shouldn't have what we want, and why the money can't come in. And
it's coming, and it's flowing, and the gift, and being able to say like, so I'll go for a nice dinner like this week, you know, go for a nice dinner. It's our anniversary. I'm gonna just be like, I'm gonna gift this nice tip to this beautiful person so that they can pay for whatever they need to pay for in their world, and then let it go and let it grow.
Yes.
So anyways, I think my kids might be home. So.
Okay, yes, and I need to go have a dip, and then but there was something to say about that, and then I will like, when I lived in Saskatchewan and I was going through one of my hardest times, there was a lady named Margaret Rose who came to my door in the middle of nowhere where I lived, and she knocked on for doing this big fat survey. So I invited her in, and I did the survey. I like doing surveys and stuff like that, but we talked for hours instead of like however many minutes she's allotted to each place. We talked for hours, and my situation, and she kept calling me an angel, but we call her Margaret Rose, our angel. But she sent me a check for $500. She didn't know me except for that 2-hour conversation. She sent me a check for $500 to help me out in my life. I bought a washing machine. Like, she doesn't know not only that I needed the washing machine, but how much that meant to me in my life when she didn't need to do that for me. And we kept in touch, and every time she lived in
oh, you're gonna make me cry.
I can't remember where she lived. What's it called? It starts with an H, but it's on the way to, like, when I would go to Edmonton, Halford.
Halford.
Huh?
Halford, Holbein.
Oh, I can't remember. It's
Peg.
no, not Hobie. It's on the way if you're going. Do you go through there before Saskatoon? No, like on the way to Alberta before Lloydminster. I'll remember and I'll write it in the comments. But anyways,
I drive that road like once every couple months. I think I'd remember, but
starts with an H. But we would, anyways, we'd stop there on the way.
And home?
No, I don't remember. But
okay.
There's so many names of towns now in my head from living here.
Yeah.
But anyway, she, even when I met her, she had stage 4 cancer, and she had already been living years past her expected life date, and she lived many years past that. But she did like about a year or two ago. She has passed away now, but we kept in touch for so long, and we called her our angel Margaret Rose, and we just loved seeing her every time we stopped there. And that I haven't paid it forward yet, but I will know when and where and to who that is. So even you leaving that tip, and I say that to some of my friends now when I'm like, here, just have this or do this. And they're like, no, you don't have to give me that. It's like, no, I can right now. I can afford to pay for your fuel or take you out or do these things.
Feels good.
Yeah, and I couldn't always do that. And I might not always be able to do that. But if I can do it now, let me.
Yeah.
So
so special.
Money's flowing. I have looked forward to us having this talk. I'm not only happy for me and you, for us connecting, but for us doing it live so that we can, like, inspire other people. And I'm just very happy right now. It's been a great day. I've been looking forward to this, and it did not disappoint.
Me too. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks for having me. I am going to meet you in person.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everyone. This did go over by like 45 minutes or such, about 40 minutes over. But I'll read the comments. I'm sorry if any of them were for Diana because she's no longer on. Let's see there. So, and Diane said, have to go. Nice to meet you, Diana. Have a great night. That's it. So we didn't really miss too many comments. And Diane, thanks for watching. I know that you're not watching right now because you have to go, but so I hope everybody enjoyed that. Like I said, I've been looking forward to this one for a while now, and it did not disappoint. So again, the book is called Silently Said. It's by Diana Lee, and it's available on Amazon or directly through Diana. And it is a brilliant read. And you, again, same as the conversation with Diana, you will not be disappointed in this book. And I'm in just such a happy mood right now. And I'm going to go have my dip in the pool, and then I'm going to go chill in bed and hopefully have a great sleep from just being pumped up about this live, and then the dip in the cold pool. So also, speaking of which, I guess like when people do like this, what's it called again? Not polar plunges, but the like cold water bath thing that people are doing. I guess like the temperature is like 7 above, like 7 Celsius and such. And I'm like just proud of myself for getting in the water when it's like 17 Celsius, but we'll see if I can handle it when it gets even colder. I mean, it's mind over matter, so I can do it. But yesterday when I was getting in, it was a little bit cold, same as the other days. And as I'm getting in, I'm thinking, who am I doing this for? What am I trying to prove? Right? Like, I don't have to do this. I already know that I'm going to enjoy the pond and I'm going to use it during the summers and everything else. Why do I have to keep doing this? And then once I was in, I was like so happy. I'm like, swimming. I did a little video too. I haven't shared it, but I'm like, this is why I do it. I love it. And then I even jumped in, and it's refreshing. I love it. And like me and Diana just talked about, it's my little piece of a lake. It's rejuvenating. It's connecting to nature. Water is a great conductor of energy, and yeah, it's just heavenly. And it's like, because it's so dark, and it just feels like a looking pond. It feels magical and spiritual and all those good things. So I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Ash says, have a lovely night, Lisa, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye. See you guys tomorrow. And yeah, have a great night, everyone. See you next week. Bye.